Welcome to T-Bone's Best of Roanoke show. Music, comedy, and conversation featuring HB, the Honey Badger.
Honey Badger don't care.
Now, on with the show.
She's Morgan Wade, lead singer, songwriter for Morgan Wade and the Step Brothers. And today is a very special day, HB. You better buckle up because we're crossing state lines and we're heading into Wade County.
Yeah, T-Bone.
Morgan, good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for meeting us here at 16 West Marketplace. We've got a lot to cover. One of the things I like about this gig here is I get to meet new people and hear new music.
Yeah.
And you're one of them.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'd never heard of you before, but you got a lot going on, so I want to get into that. I want to talk about, where you came from. And then at the end, if you'll grace us with a song, that'd be very nice.
Absolutely.
All right.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, you've got a really good story about how you started your songwriting career when you were about 19, you were a freshman in college. Could you tell us about that?
Yeah. So obviously I always kind of played and sang some songs and stuff like that for myself. Nobody else. One of those things I get off the school bus and go in my room and before my parents would get home, didn't want anybody to hear me. I didn't think I could sing too much, So,
now, were you playing the guitar at that time?
Yeah, I was, because I guess that's a little sooner before. I originally started out taking classical violin lessons. Growing up in Floyd, it was real bluegrass, and my grandpa, he wanted me to, I grew up, going to the Floyd Country Store every Friday night, falling asleep on his lap. So he really wanted me to play the fiddle, and he bought me a fiddle. And then I got put in violin lessons, and it wasn't really my thing too much, and wanted to play the guitar really bad. And the teacher told my mom not to let me do it. If I wasn't going to stick with the violin, I'd never make it doing anything with the guitar. So my grandma went and bought me a guitar because my mom was like, "No, I'm not wasting any more music on any lessons." And then my grandma was like, "I'll go buy you a guitar."
Good for Granny.
Good for grandma, yeah. So I started playing guitar, but I don't shred or anything. I just want to take some lessons, learn how to play some chords, and just write songs.
Right.
And so that's what I did for a while, just for myself. I just kind of had fun with it. It was a release, and then I started dating a guy, Joe, plays with me, and he was in a band, the Deer Run Drifters, and. He was just always like, I bet you can sing. And I was just like, no. We ended up splitting for a little bit, and that's when I wrote Kelly's Drive, and sat down, just one take, just sat down with my guitar, recorded it on my phone, and I was like, all right, this is closure. I won't ever mess with it again. And I guess I had a little bit to drink one night, and texted him that song, and it worked.
Yeah.
We got back together, and that was around the same time that I was like, all right, I'm gonna try this, see how this goes, and I got on Craigslist and formed a little band, real safe.
And that's the normal way to find a band is on Craigslist.
Around here, man, that's you go out to like Nashville and stuff where I've been, and that's on Craigslist, and they're just kind of like,
what?
I guess you can just kind of walk down the street down there and find somebody. But I was like, I'm a little more limited up here in the sticks, so
But you grew up in Floyd, and you still live there.
Yeah, still live there for now, and I like it.
Yeah.
It's traveling so much now. I'm really getting that momentum and getting out there on the road that it's kind of nice to come back and be
home.
Yeah, be home and not sit in traffic for an hour.
It's
just
a little
to get
more,
5 minutes down the road.
A little quieter up there.
A little bit, yeah.
And then when you were growing up at home in Floyd, what kind of songs were on the radio? What did your parents listen to? And you mentioned the fiddle and the bluegrass.
Yeah,
and all that.
I listened to all kinds of stuff. My parents are divorced, so my mom would listen to different stuff, and then I'd be in the car with my dad, he'd be listening to different stuff. My mom listened to more, I grew up listening to a lot of that 90s rap, honestly, with her, a lot of like Shaggy and, all that kind of stuff. And then I'd be with my dad, and he listened to more, Shania Twain and Garth Brooks, that kind of stuff. So then I had that, and then I'd be with my grandpa, and we're listening to Fox on the Run. And then, and then my other grandma would listen to a lot of Elvis and stuff like that. And that was, once I heard Elvis, I was in about first grade, and that was all I wanted to listen to. I was a big Elvis fan, and that's all I would listen to, for years.
So you had a real melting pot of musical
I did,
influences there.
Yeah, it was, you know, nothing. Nobody in my family really listened to any kind of rock or anything like that. So I never heard. I mean, maybe, you know, like Leonard Skinner kind of stuff, but I never Janis Joplin or like Melissa Etheridge. I never heard anything like that, which would have been a little nicer to hear something like that to understand. Okay, my voice isn't so weird. You know, I would listen to women like Shania Twain and Dolly Parton and stuff like that, and hear, you know, more of these clear voices that can hit these really high notes and stuff. I was like, I can't do that. You know, something's wrong with me, you know. And so then it wasn't until I got a little older and I heard Janis Joplin and stuff, I was like, oh, okay, you can kind of, that's how I can kind of, you know, control my vocals and work with it like that, you know.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's one of the things we were talking about. We like your voice; it's different.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, difference. I'm learning difference good. You know.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
For now, anyways.
So anyway, so you had all these musical influences. How would you describe what, or do you have a genre that you and the Step Brothers fit in? What kind of? How would you describe it to people who've never heard you before?
That's a good question. I was out at ASCAP in Nashville about a month ago, playing some stuff for them. And when I got in there, they were like, "So what kind of music do you play?" And I was like, "Yeah, nice smoothie in the background being made here."
Yeah.
We asked for that.
Yeah, but you know, they were like, "What kind of music do you play?" And I was like, "Man, I don't know. I can't describe it." And she was like, "Okay, well, let me listen to it and tell you what I think." You know, I mean, she's listening to everything all the time, and
Right.
we got done playing her some of the new stuff, and she was like, "Yeah, I have no idea." She's like, "'Cause it's not country." She's like, "You're Southern. There's no, you know, denying that with the accent, but it's got rock tinges to it, but it's also got a lot more pop elements to it as well." I listen to a lot of Halsey and stuff like that,
Right.
and more, you know, Billie Eilish and stuff like that. That's really what I like, that kind of music. So it's got, you know, more of the poppy hooks, not like pop country, but more of a, it's, you know, it's really hard to describe. So I put Americana
Right.
on it
Right.
because what's Americana? You know, nobody really knows.
that's right.
So I can kind of put that on there, but it's, you know,
And I
it's,
saw somewhere, Moria, it said alternative country.
yeah. And
Have you
it's,
ever heard that?
I've heard alt country, but that, you know, I've been called punk country, outlaw country, you know, alt country. Then I hear, well, that's rock to me.
Rockabilly
And
type,
yeah, and so, but the new stuff is definitely going to be more rock than anything.
Country,
Go ahead,
country's evolved a lot anyway.
Right, yeah, for
I mean,
sure.
it goes all over the place anymore. So, yeah, it fits right in with what
yeah,
you're
'cause,
saying.
Well, you mentioned you just got back into town. Tell us about where you've been and what you've been doing. You know, you released an album about a year or so ago, right?
Yeah, right.
But tell us about your new project you got going on.
Yeah, so I ran my mouth a little bit at Floyd Fest. I knew the day Jason Isbell was coming, and so I waited around backstage all day because I was like, you know, I want to eye him up a little bit. That sounds really bad. That was inappropriate, maybe a little bit, but I don't mean it in a bad way. I love all his music, and so I was just back there. We played a set, and I just kept running my mouth about it. Well, Jason's going to be here today, so if anybody wants to tell him to come say hey, you know. And next thing I know, we get done playing, this guy comes up to me, and he's like, hey, do you have any CDs or whatever? And I was like, well, kind of supposed to get them from the merch tent, but, yeah, I mean, I do, you know. And he was like, well, I wanted to get one quick. He was like, I'm Jason's guitar tech. I want to give this to the guys. I want them to hear it. I think that, and I was like, oh, well, you're gonna get some CDs.
Yeah.
So I grabbed him a couple CDs, and then I didn't know if I'd hear anything. I've been approached by people that are like, well, we work with Eric Church, or we work with this person, and it's like, it's a grain of salt because you never know what's gonna happen. So I don't get my hopes up on anything.
Right.
And then literally a few days later, I got a message from him. He's like, hey, what's your email? Sadler Vaden, the lead guitar player, he wants to chat. And I was like, well, okay. And it was a couple days after that, I got a phone call from Sadler, and he's like, hey,
Wow.
you know, how's it going? so we really, honestly, he's become just. I call him Dadler. His name's Sadler, but I call him Dadler. So he's been kind of like a dad. He's been leading me in all the right directions. So went out in October and we just wrote some stuff and we FaceTime all the time. And then I've been going back and forth between here and there. And so I just went out and we're going to release a single tonight, May 17th.
May 17th.
Yeah, and so we're kind of right now just doing a few songs and then try to release an EP versus you have 5 really solid songs that everybody likes versus, really, that way it gives me more time to write, writing with some folks out there in Nashville, which is good.
I've listened to all your songs on YouTube.
Yeah.
Now, the new songs you have, do they have a little bit different flavor or texture to them?
Yeah, I don't think any of this stuff's going to sound like anything I put out before.
So you're evolving.
Yeah, and I'm glad, really happy about that. It's, different working with someone because I actually have a producer now, and we're sitting down like dissecting these songs. I didn't want to do that at first because no, I don't want to change. And then after I sat down and we did, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, this is great.
Do you more or less, you saying that, is this where you learn a whole lot more about music being made? In other words, you didn't know that they would break it down in each little
they
morsel.
literally, and it's like every line, and I'm so glad too because then I was like, all right, this has been really, really great, and going out there, it's like as soon as I come back home from being out there, you're really inspired. I've always heard a lot of trash about Nashville, growing up. You hear, oh, well, you go out there and they're going to try to make you this, they're going to try to make you this, and then I haven't had that experience at all since I've been out there, Everybody has been super inspiring and just, I'm not, I guess I'm a little different than what they're used to out there too, so it's been like really beneficial for me to kind of stick out a little more than, just trying to be myself and be, because I didn't grow up out there, so I don't know,
right.
And it's been really good, but Sadler has definitely really helped me
Very
so much.
positive influence.
Yeah, and it's like I trust him because I had an experience out there probably 6 months ago where these folks wanted to sign me, and I got out there, and it was just kind of more of a not trusting folks at all. And you get out there, and they're like, "Well, we want you to give us this lump sum of money here, and we're gonna take 6 months, and in 6 months we're gonna have you being, the next Miranda Lambert." And I'm like, "Yeah, well, that's not really what I was going for." And nothing against her at all, but I'm not trying to copy anybody, and I'm just kind of like, I really wasted my time. But they do their research too, because they find out stuff you like, what you like to do and stuff. Because I get out there and they're like, "Well, we know you're this big Elvis fan," and so they're like Elvis was here, and I'm just like, this is a little creepy. It's not, yeah. So it's you got to be careful. But Sadler is complete opposite of anything.
So he's a good guy.
He's great.
That's a good solid connection.
I mean, he's helping me out so much, and he understands. It's expensive and it's hard getting going, and he really cares. He lets me stay at his house, and he cooks me tacos and everything. He's just been, he's just such a great guy, just like an older brother, and so.
Well, that'd be very nice to meet him. He sounds like a super nice
guy.
guy.
I got to play a show with him at the Basement in Nashville. Used to be Grimey's out there, and so we played a show together, just him and I, a couple nights ago, and that's unreal a little bit too. Be standing there, this guy, I've seen several Jason Isbell shows, and so to be able to just be like, oh, well, this guy's up here and he likes my stuff, and he's up here playing guitar with me. It's a little bit like, well, this is weird, but it's great too.
Well, you've played that in Nashville, but you've played Floyd Fest before.
Yeah. This will be our third year.
Year, so that's something you keep coming
back. I love
Yeah.
Floyd Fest. What Chris has done, bringing that to the area, especially growing up there, Floyd, and it helps everybody out. It really helped put Floyd as a big tourist attraction.
It sure did.
And it's one. Heck, they got Casey Musgraves there this year. I'm really pumped about that. So,
so you're gonna listen to that too. Well, now you've also I see where you've got a a gig here in Roanoke on the 27th at 5
At
Points.
5 Points, yeah.
We've been there a few times. We really like it.
Yeah.
Have you been there before?
Yeah, we've played there quite a few times. Great place. Tyler, that does everything there, one of the nicest guys you're ever gonna meet.
5 Points Music Sanctuary.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
right.
And so you've been there?
Yes.
They'll do a breakfast sessions every now and then, like a biscuits thing. You've got to go eat some biscuits
we
and
will
listen
do
to
that.
music, and it's like they make it's kind of like a vegetarian biscuits and gravy, but it's got like mushroom. It's like a mushroom gravy. Best thing I've ever had. And I grew up on sausage biscuits and gravy, so but that's a great place.
Do they advertise that breakfast thing?
Yeah, I think
like
they call
to
it
do
a
that.
biscuit session. You kind of got to keep your eye out for it. But
All right,
then they've got mimosas and Bloody Mary bar and all that. It's great, but it's super nice room, and you can hear everything, and they treat you really well there. So
Yeah, we enjoy it. Well, tell us about your band.
it's changing up a little bit. It's still the Step Brothers, but I've got some new guys playing, and since I'm transitioning from, I'm going to be moving out to Nashville here by August. Sadler wanted me out there a little sooner, and the original plan was to be out there by May, but I've got a lot of shows and stuff on the East Coast, so it makes a little more sense to wait till after Floyd Fest and everything's over, and then
Things are happening.
yeah. So I'm gonna be, things are gonna be changing, and be forming a band out there.
Beautiful.
So it's just a little
that's
different.
how-
It's gonna be a little different. But I mean, we're still, I'm happy. Things. I feel like if you're not continually changing, you're not, doing anything. So I want to continue to grow and like cultivate the sound that I want, and not the sound that everybody else wants.
Right.
They're my songs, so I feel like I should be able to do it a little bit how I want to.
Right.
And Morgan, you've written so many songs.
Yeah.
I mean, how does that? Is it that they just come to you, or you hear a conversation, you'll pick up a clip of a word?
Yeah, it's some of the best songs I've had they've just popped up in my head.
Life experience sometimes.
Yeah,
can
some
give
stuff,
that.
and then
Yeah.
I've gotten, there's only so much one person can experience. So I used to be like, well, everything has to have happened to me, or I can't write about it. And then I was like, well, that's dumb. Why don't, if it pops in your head, write it down, And so that's what I've started doing is, just watching other people and people in my life and stuff like that, stuff that could happen. But, if it's something I'm passionate about, then 9 times out of 10 people are going to like it. If I'm not feeling it, I'm not going to be able to put that across.
Right.
But I used to not write anything down. I used to kind of just keep it up my head. But since being out there in Nashville, and they've shown me how to kind of write stuff down and do it like that, I read Jeff Tweedy's book. From
Jeff
Don't know.
Tweedy?
Yeah, he was in Uncle Tupelo.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. So you got to check him out.
All
Anyways.
right. Yeah.
But I was reading his book, and he was talking about all the different ways to write, and he puts down 10 verbs and then 10 other random words, and like connects them and tries to see. And I was like, so I did that the other night. I was like, I'm gonna try that out, and let me tell you, it was like you take 10 words that you find really interesting, and then kind of compare it, and then draw lines and see, and like, okay, well, let's kind of connect these. Because sometimes you'll run across a word and you'll be like, that's really interesting, but you're kind of struggling to like, how do I fit this
it
in a
in,
song?
yeah.
And so now if something pops in my head, I jot it down and try to keep track of it. So,
And as an audience member, if you hear a word that you're not used to hearing, it catches your attention.
right, yeah.
Yeah, so that's smart.
Well, it sounds like you're in good hands
Yeah, I
out in
mean-
Nashville, and you got a bright future. Looks like. Huh?
Yeah,
Really
I'm
excited.
definitely been blessed with it, because I feel like things got kind of slow there for a while, and I was kind of just like, man, is it ever anything going to kind of happen? So you kind of got to go all or nothing. So I was working a job in tax reassessment, worked that for over a year, and I quit last month. I was like, all right, you're
gotta
in
go
it
in it.
or
Right.
you're not.
Right.
And so I quit, and I'm just running off shows and everything now, and I'm happier than I've been in a long time. So
Well, good for you. Now, do you still do a girls rock?
So I worked. They're great. They're great. And I wasn't. Gosh, it's been, I guess, about a year. that I went out there and spoke,
Yeah.
and went out there to that camp.
Yeah.
And that was hands down the coolest thing. They've got some of the coolest kids out there.
Yeah.
To see those, young girls,
Yeah.
asking questions and they're interested. And I was just like, man, I wish I had something like that growing up. Just designed just for girls out there to really, just have people tell them, hey, you can do this. You can do what the heck you want to do when you get older. And just.
So it's like a camp?
And they just
what's the name of that?
Girls. Was Girls Rock.
Girls
yeah,
Rock,
yeah, and
just for girls.
yeah.
Okay.
And they just teach them music and let them play instruments and stuff like that. It's like a week, and it seriously though, it was great because it's just ran by women, and it's just
brings a whole other world.
Yeah, because I mean, especially women in music, it's either I think it's. I never quite realized that until I got older, but it's like everything's like over-sexualized with women and stuff like that. It's a little different than just actually focusing on the creative aspect of it. So to have young girls like that in there hearing, hey, you can be a female drummer if you want to be a female drummer.
Yeah.
Like, you can do that. So it was really great.
Well, as we get ready to wrap up, could we maybe ask if you could grace us with a song?
Yeah, for sure. I got this new hummingbird here. I'm excited.
You do? It's a new one?
Yeah, I've got a Gibson guitar problem. Just a pretty good problem to have. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, isn't that cool?
Yeah.
Have guitar will travel.
Yeah, I gotta play some shows to pay for these darn things. But, it's a good tax write-off. I'm not gonna complain right there. Yeah, I'll go ahead and play y'all what we're gonna release as a single.
Nice.
It's called The Night.
The night. All
Yeah.
right.
By summer's end, I predict that I finally lost my mind. The doctor said that these new pills, well, they might help me this time. And I hope that's the case, 'cause I feel I am wasting one life that I acquired a little crowd here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Morgan,
Well, no wonder.
yeah, no wonder. My word, you are the real deal. Well, how can people follow you or catch up with your music? What would you recommend?
Yeah,
Wanna learn more?
I keep my Instagram, Morgan Wade Music, up, and Facebook, Morgan Wade. We got a website, Morgan Wade and the Step Brothers. That'll probably change to Morgan Wade here soon.
As time
Everything's
goes.
under construction a little bit
Right
with the time changing.
Right.
But yeah, I've got music on Spotify, Apple Music, iTunes, all that good stuff.
Okay.
Well, you've got 2 new fans in us.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We're going to
Appreciate
follow
it.
you while you're here, and we're
Yeah.
going to keep an eye on you in
Yeah.
Nashville.
Yeah, right
And
on.
this party's not over, is it?
It's not. Look at you. You got you good with them song puns, huh? Yeah. Right on.
Hey, that's kind of good. The party's not over.
Thank you, Morgan.
Yeah, no, appreciate y'all.
Morgan,
Seriously.
really
Thank you.
fantastic,
Yeah,
honey.
seriously.
You, good luck to you.
Yeah, I feel like I've seen you before.
You may have. Been around a lot.
Out and about.